Hello, I'm Cryptic One, aka Crip Uno of Atoms Family of Pirata, and we're here today just to manufacture some inspiration from AudioCipher. Yeah, let's just jump into it. I'm going to show you a little bit of my process. Let's jump into Ableton and see what's popping here. So I started with the drum groove, and that's this track right here. This was a drum break that I chopped up, and then I removed all the snares from the drum break, and I just kind of filled in the blanks, and the goal was just to get the percussion and the groove, mostly the groove. Let's just play that and let you hear what it sounds like. It may not sound like much on its own, but in the context of the track, it works. This is a gap that I filled with a snare roll right here from a different drum break. Just as a nice little variation, or sprinkle, as I may call it from time to time. And here's another one. Just kind of leads into the 1 of the 8th and the 4th bar. So once I had that little groove going, it was time for AudioCipher. What I did, instead of just picking a word at random or something out of my head or how I was feeling that day or whatever, I wanted it to be a little bit more random. So I reached in this wall of records behind me, and I grabbed a record at random. And the plan was to use the title of the album to plug into AudioCipher. So this was the record that I grabbed. It's a record by Hank Jones called Solo Piano. I picked the key and typed solo piano. I chose G sharp minor. I opened up an instance of Ripchord. I dragged the MIDI notes over. So the goal was to build a chord progression. I dragged out the notes from AudioCipher and I tweaked them. I stretched some, I deleted others, I moved some, I transposed some an octave. I tweaked it until I got somewhere where I liked. The end result was this. It's kind of beautiful chord progressions. The keys are from Addictive Keys. So yeah. So now that with the groove, sounds like this. My computer's struggling a little also. That's some of those non-appealing crackles in there. But onwards and upwards. So once I had that groove and the keys going, it's time for my favorite part, and that is drums. And OBS is kind of acting a little funky. I wanted to finger drum something in, so I had to turn off OBS, and I recorded it on my other camera, this camera right here. And that looked and sounded like this. So once I had those drums in there, I played a bass line. Now the bass line I did kind of just off the cuff. I didn't use AudioCipher for it, but you could. That's a bass line. And then I did a similar thing with, I added some strings from the Mellotron. So I wanted to use AudioCipher once again for an additional element in this beat. And I pulled up an instance of Serato Sample right here, and I threw in a Soul Surplus sample. I changed it to the key of C because we were in the key of C minor over here. and I click the random button here, and it picks a bunch of random chops. I went over to my trusty wall of records. I grabbed a second record, which was this record right here, Ramsey Lewis Maiden Voyage. Came back to AudioCipher, typed in Maiden Voyage, and dragged these into my Serato sample track and gave me a bunch of chops. Saw the ones I liked, kept those, got rid of the ones I didn't like, stretched some, transposed others, and came up with this. I also added some filters and attacks and release and reverse some of these samples. Came out with this. And in the context of the track, and that's pretty much it. I have to say, let's switch here. I have to say that without AudioCipher, this track doesn't get made. I wouldn't have thought to have that chord progression. I wouldn't have chopped the samples in the same way. It definitely gets me started on a path, and it's just up to me to follow that path and go and see where it takes me. I sat down in front of the computer with absolutely no idea what I wanted to do, and because of AudioCipher, I was able to find a direction. And that's it. I'm going to play the track as I get out of here, and I hope you guys dug what you saw, and check out AudioCipher. Cryptic One, aka Crip Uno, of Atoms Family, of Pirata, and I'm out. Peace.